today's practice, we're going to explore the difference between curiosity and vigilance. And the reason for that is because one of the things that meditation allows us to do is to come back into a state of just mindful awareness, so that rather than being really dragged around by the stress response and feeling quite heightened, we can actually come back to being much calmer, in a much calmer state. And but sometimes it can be confusing, the difference between curiosity and vigilance. So because they both involve noticing stuff. You know, have you ever noticed when you're really stressed that you become hyper aware, like you really notice sounds in your environment? The ducks are going nuts this morning. You really notice sounds in your environment. Maybe there's mentally part of your brain is literally scanning your perimeter to check that you're still safe. And that can be exhausting. But that kind of, in a way, can look like curiosity because you're noticing lots of things. But there's a difference in the quality of curiosity that comes from a place of being mindfully present and aware. And the difference is around being able to just allow experiences to flow through. So if there's a sound, we're not judging it. So is that a bad sound? Is that a good sound? Because essentially, in meditation, it's kind of a microcosm of your day-to-day reality. So the things that come up in meditation are often kind of little clues to what's going on in your life. So if when you close your eyes to meditate, you find there's a lot of judgment of, oh God, my mind's thinking too much, or this isn't going well, or that sounds really annoying in the background, and I wish I was more comfortable. That's a sign that we're not quite in that place of just being able to just accept exactly what our reality is right now, good, bad, and ugly. So and this is just a gradual loosening process. This is just an exploration, and we don't need to try and make anything happen. We're just allowing things to settle in their own way. So it's like shaking up a snow globe and just keeping it still to allow it to settle. That's exactly what we're doing. If we try and force a snow globe you can't force a snow globe to settle, because as soon as you agitate it in any way, it starts churning up again. So we will begin with our body and the sounds around us, and we'll just be curious. So if you haven't meditated with me before, there's only two instructions. The first one is around posture, and that is that there isn't actually any special postures you need. Having your lower back supported is useful. So whether you're sitting up in bed, if you're doing this in the morning with me, or you're watching on the replay, if you're sitting in a chair, having your lower back supported so that you can be active but relaxed. So we don't want to be so relaxed that we're falling back asleep, not for this particular style of meditation. And we also don't want to be so active that we're holding everything tight and trying to concentrate too much. So it's that middle space. And the second instruction is around our minds. And when your mind kicks in with thoughts, which at some point it will, if you're human during our meditation, that's okay. Your only job is to notice that you've been distracted and just come back. No judgment, no effort. In reality is that, just coming back to that snow globe, as soon as that snow globe is still, so one of the first things you're actually aware of is the swirling. And so if that's what happens and your mind is a busy place today, that's okay. You don't need to try and make it be still or quiet. It will happen as and when it's ready. And thoughts are just a way of releasing stress from your system. So no pressure for it to be a certain way. There's a bird flapping over there. I wonder what it was. So gently closing down our eyes, just allow yourself to get comfortable, get any last movement that you need. And we'll just take a couple of bigger breaths actually to start to signal to the body that it's time to let go. So taking a deep breath in through the nose and then sighing out of the mouth. Really feel your shoulders drop, and then breathing in through the nose, feeling the whole body rise, and then sighing out of the mouth. And then just let your breath find its natural rhythm. And here we are, turning away from the busy just for a moment, allowing the body to settle. And we're going to begin by taking our attention to the sounds that you can hear right now. Almost imagining that you're casting a net as far as you can and just allowing the sounds that you capture to come to your ears. There's plenty of sounds where I am this morning. And perhaps you can hear them too. And we're not trying to distinguish between sounds, we're just allowing the sounds to arrive in our ears. And just notice, first of all, that a sound will take your attention. And then without conscious awareness, suddenly a different sound becomes the most obvious. That there's a flowing of sound in and out. And see if you can imagine yourself just in the center and the sounds coming to you. One sound and then the next sound. And if your mind's already wandered off, just gently bring it back. What can I hear right now? And you can even softly note in your mind hearing. So as the sound becomes the most prominent, you're just noting hearing rather than trying to analyze or work it out or judge what it is. It's just hearing. 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 Until the next sound takes its place. Imagining that you're at the center and the sounds are just coming to you. Just curious to see what you notice. And when your mind wanders, just coming back. What can I hear right now? Hearing. 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 Now we'll take our attention even further inside, bringing our gaze inwards to the sensations of our body, but we'll begin by focusing on the fingertips. So just notice your fingertips, let your full focus rest there without moving the fingers, letting go of the awareness of the sound to just focus on the fingertips. And you might still notice sounds or thoughts, and that's okay, but just gently resting your attention on the fingertips. And after a moment, you might notice a gentle tingling or buzzing in the fingers, like a gentle vibration or humming. If you don't notice anything, that's okay too, if you don't feel anything. But if you feel that sensation with that focus on the fingertips, that's just your nervous system responding to your attention. Your fingers preparing for movement, responding to you turning inwards. Just be curious about any sensations you're feeling. Just as with the sounds, we're not making anything happen, we're just noticing what's there. And adding your toes to your awareness. Seeing if you can feel each of your toes in your awareness. Maybe you can feel that same subtle activation in the toes, that sense of them preparing for movement, the electrical pulsing. Or maybe it's stronger in your fingers. Or maybe you don't feel anything, and that's okay too. Now noticing the weight of your feet on the ground and the weight of your hands in your lap. Maybe noticing that with that awareness of the hands, that the arms themselves feel heavier or lighter just from your awareness. With your feet on the floor, can you imagine a connection to the floor underneath you, that there's almost like a thread of energy from your feet all the way down through the floor, down to the ground underneath you, allowing you to let go of anything your body doesn't need, out into the earth beneath you, and taking up your strength and grounding from the earth beneath you. Imagining as you now take your awareness up your legs, the ankles and the shins, the calves, noticing the knees. And if the mind gets distracted by sounds or sensations, just gently coming back. No judgment or effort. There's just awareness. Noticing the thighs and all the way up to the sit bones. The weight of the legs now. Maybe they feel heavier. Maybe they feel lighter. Just being curious about how it feels today in this moment. Even if you've done this practice before or something similar, how is it today in this moment? Noticing the belly. Noticing any judgments that jump into your mind as you pay attention to your belly, about your body, about your health, your fitness. Just notice if that jumps in as you pay attention to the physical body. Just see if you can let it go and just be aware of, what do I feel in my body right now? What sensations? Traveling up the torso, up to the rib cage. Noticing the rib cage expanding and contracting as you breathe. And all the way up to that heart space, the center of the body. Feeling the chest gently rising. So your whole body's in your awareness now. Just being curious, what do you feel when you feel your whole body? Maybe there's a deeper feeling of relaxation that can begin to emerge. Maybe there's agitation. Maybe there's heaviness or lightness. Maybe there's certain points of the body that are asking for more attention. Or maybe the mind is continually wandering and it's hard to stay with the body. Just whatever your experience, just be curious about how it is today. Or maybe the sounds of the ducks and the birds are distracting and taking you away from your body. And just notice and come back. And then notice the weight of your head above your shoulders. Notice if the spine is straight and tall, or if there's a slight rounding and slumping in the body. Just notice, and notice if by noticing your body shifts. Noticing the cheeks, the jaw, the forehead. And then coming back to the sounds you can hear right now. Noticing if they've been interrupting you as you've been paying attention to your body. If there's judgments about how well you can pay attention or what it should be. And see if you can return to that place of being in the center and allowing the sounds to come to you. And we'll spend some time now just in the silence of noticing our sounds around us, with our body deeply connected to the ground and all the way through to our awareness of our body in space. And gently noting hearing for the individual sounds. And coming back to the breath now, to the body rising and falling, and we'll take 3 more slow deep breaths, taking the breath all the way down to the belly, and if you can, narrowing the airway at the back of the nose and the throat so that you make a slight whisper sound as you breathe. So breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. One more, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. And letting the breath find its natural rhythm. And gently returning movement to the fingers and the toes. And gently blinking open the eyes and just keeping the gaze soft for a moment as you come back to the space that you're in. And I think the birds definitely got the memo this morning that we were going to be focusing on sounds. Perhaps you noticed the sound of ducks fighting with each other and flying in, or perhaps they just became part of that rich tapestry of the sounds and you were able to allow them to just be sounds. Whatever your experience is absolutely what it was meant to be.